Welcome everyone, you're watching The Girls here on SSP TV. You can find us on our website. You can also find us on YouTube and on cable. And we're here today with another interesting topic, right? Elder abuse and how we can keep our senior citizens safe. So we are happy to be joined with Frank and Sandy DeAndrea from DeAndrea Investigation Security. They have a couple of awards that they've won.
Yes, very impressive awards.
They won the Investigator of the Year award from the PA Association of Licensed Investigators. So they usually pick one investigator, but they chose them as a couple. And that's the first time in history that two people received one award.
That's fantastic.
And then in 2024, they won the top private investigation. They were featured actually in the top private investigation magazine worldwide, right? So it's worldwide. This is not just
Yes, people, they're right here from in Hazleton.
Worldwide. So sometimes you're not here in your hometown, right? Well, guess what? They travel not only in the country, but internationally, speaking on the topic of keeping our seniors safe and also on other issues that we'll talk about with the former chief. I have to say that because back in the day, you know, I saw this guy all the time. I was reporting and you were the main man, right, behind the desk.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. But I just, Sandy and I are police academy instructors.
Yeah.
And I was on the firing range all day with the cadets, and it reminded me of when we did the show.
I love that.
And we were in Wilkes-Barre, and you were firing the .45 caliber Tommy guns.
Right. That was the most exciting day of my life.
Sandy and I will take, the both of you will go out to the firing range again.
I love
Super.
That
What are we going to shoot at?
fun.
Well, we'll shoot at targets, but Sandy will.
I bring my own targets.
Sandy will bring her ARs.
Oh.
For you to, we have matching ARs. Because,
I love it. I love it. Well, quite a reputation and background with these awards, which have opened a lot of doors for both of you and your practice now, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What is the name? You have a website. What do you go by on your website?
So our website is www.deandrea.biz.
Okay. Easy enough.
It explains what we do as far as financial investigations, risk, threat, vulnerability assessments, whether you want to book us to speak. We speak internationally.
I love it.
We were in Ireland. We just came back from Florida. At the end of the month, we'll be in Texas. Then in September, we'll be in Hershey at the Pennsylvania Association. But
So you're all over.
yeah, we're for it. We were on in January. Where was the cruise that we were on? We spoke on a cruise in January.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're blessed because
Well,
We
a
have so
lot,
much
lot of years of
experience.
knowledge right
Yes,
here
yeah,
on these
right.
topics, right?
All the experience. And so, how did you decide to do this? You were both former state police
Right. Our
and
story.
retired.
So I had actually, after I retired from the state police, I had actually started working for a private investigator out of Westchester and became friends with him. And one day I was speaking with Frank in the car. We were driving back from Philadelphia and we start talking about evidence from a case. And Frank is amazing with everything forensic. And we started talking about it. And I looked at him and I said, you know, he pays me well, but you and I should be doing this as our own business. And that's kind of how it came about.
It's always the woman.
well, but in all honesty,
The driving force.
in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you're not allowed to be a private investigator while you are a police officer. And so all of our adult lives together, we were both, or at least one of us, was a police officer.
Got it.
And it wasn't until it was 2017, 18, we're coming back from Philadelphia, we were at a concert with the kids, and she is doing a private investigation for a firm out of Philadelphia who hired her to look into a fatal accident where an infant had been crushed in a car seat. And so Sandy said to me, what would you feel you needed to look at And I'm like, look, before I go anywhere, I want to see the autopsy results. I want to see the car's accident reconstruction, the crush factor. I want to see the car seat. Before I'm suing a car seat manufacturer for something failing, I want to verify that the kid is even in the car seat. And so I'm spitting out the autopsy reports. And Sandy looked at me. She's driving on the way home up the turnpike. And she said, why aren't we doing this for ourselves? And I think it was the first time that she and I actually stopped to think about, hey, we're not cops anymore. We can actually open our own business. And
Well, you'll always be cops.
well,
but I
true.
understand
I mean, you
what you're
cut us,
saying.
and
Yeah.
we'll still bleed state police
That's
gray.
right.
Right. And that was when we realized it's like, okay, we should open a business.
So you don't only talk on the for elder care. You also talk on other. What are the topics you all talk on?
Mine was computer scams that I recently did. Again, that too falls under your elder. But even, I mean, nowadays, all of us get emails, that are scams, and you click on one, or you answer a text message. It's not just an elder abuse thing for us. It's everyone. Yeah, anybody and everybody. I mean, we have family members, older family members. A day doesn't go by, usually we get a phone call, and we tell them, listen, if you have a question about this, call us, and we'll tell you if it's a scam or not.
So how would I know if that's a scam?
Well, for something like that, you have to understand that those businesses are not going to send you a text message to begin with.
Okay.
So Sandy's cautionary is if they're not in your contacts in your phone and you're getting a text message from somebody saying anything.
A text or email? Could it be email as well?
Right.
All right.
They're scams. Phone calls where they're trying to get you that quickly. But we could go into all kind of detail with how we protect them. But I want to be able to blow Sandy's horn a little bit because she never talks about what she is a phenomenal expert about.
Okay.
So one of Sandy's topics is that she talks on doing undercover work and how to do surveillance and undercover. And what most people don't realize is when she was in the state police, she was a deep undercover operative. And she infiltrated 2 organized crime rings at the highest level.
Wow.
Where one, can I tell them, or you want to tell them?
Go ahead.
No, you tell them.
No, go ahead.
You're tuning her horn. She's like, go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, but
How often
so
does this happen?
she calls me one night. There was only 5 people that knew how deep undercover she was. She calls me one night because there are not cell phones. This is back in the late 90s, middle 90s.
Okay.
She calls me and said, "You'll never believe whose baby I rocked to sleep tonight." I'm like, who? Now I know she's in North or South Carolina. South Carolina. She said, the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Oh my
She rocked his baby to sleep, and her undercover boyfriend, air quotes, he was being appointed the head of the Aryan Nation when they were down there. So Sandy, undercover, infiltrates the KKK and the Aryan Nation. And so when she speaks internationally, one of her topics is how to do undercover work, how to do surveillance, and she's phenomenal at it.
Well, clearly. Clearly
And she really is. But we talk about school massacres, which is near and dear to my heart. I speak on that. I just came back from Florida where we spoke on that. Sandy said one of our topics is elder abuse, financial exploitation, computer scams.
We have a lot of that in our area.
Let me ask you something for the financial exploitation. We just had someone on. She's from Florida. They went under a massive attack financially, and there was nowhere for her to turn to. There's
theft.
Identity theft, no help at all, and it was international and national. You would be someone I would have her call, because I think you'd be able to help her. They had to navigate it through by themselves. They didn't know where to go, who to call, who to ask for.
All their assets
Were frozen.
Everything.
And
Yeah, I had one of those cases, and the one I had, I actually would not research it because it was linked to the cartel. And the minute you start to research that, it sets off all bells and whistles with them.
Wow.
So you have to, as an investigator, I understand you have to be very careful how you're investigating certain crimes.
So the international association that we belong to, which is in 70 countries and every state in the nation, you cannot call us and say, I need somebody in Kuwait, I need somebody in Canada, I need somebody in Florida. Pick a state, give me 70 countries that we can't reach out, and we know these individuals because they're investigators that work with us. And several of them, their specialty is identity theft and how to fix it and or how to investigate it.
That's awesome.
And we have people in that association that the actual federal agencies turn to. They instruct the FBI, the CIA. They're their open source investigation OSINT, in their trainers. So by all means, if somebody needs to know where to turn to, we can certainly refer them if we
That's
couldn't
the
help
connection. That's so great.
Well, stay with us because we're deep in a conversation here about staying safe, and we're going to get back into a conversation about something that's pretty prevalent here in our area especially, is elder scams. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Girls. We're talking about scams, and we have an expert with us. We have Frank DeAndrea and his beautiful wife, Sandy. And they are speaking nationally, internationally about various topics. But today we're tackling about scams. So we want to know, first of all, how do we identify that something is a scam? I mean, you get a message from someone and you're thinking, well, gee, I do have an account with that now. Did I forget to pay that? Or, you know, what is it? So what do you do? How do you identify it? And then what do you do next?
So what Sandy and I have found, and we're fortunate to have children in the industry. So one of our children was a hacker for the United States Air Force.
I love that.
He was paid, he's a white hat. He's paid to hack into databases like the FBI and the CIA and the NSA. And then he spins his computer to the person in the room with them and says, this is how I got in. And they're banging away at the computer screen to fix it. So having somebody in the industry, he now, fortunately, he now works for Lockheed Martin in their computer.
He's a smart cookie.
Yeah, he really is.
Takes after Sandy.
And absolutely.
Not me.
He's all his mother. So one of the things that keeps us fresh with understanding how things work. If we're investigating something, you know, we're on the phone to him saying, look, this is what we got. What do you think? And sometimes he's like, whoa, Papa Bear, you don't want to talk that, you don't want to touch that one.
Oh, wow.
So what's the thing that pops up that would make me say, okay, this isn't good?
Well, fortunately and unfortunately, in the world we live in, with the advent of artificial intelligence and the breakneck speed that the technology is working at, scams are getting better and better and better and more evolved. And so for us to sit here and spell them out, we can't. Because,
What are the warning signs?
Yeah, but the things because when you see something like when Google is now warning you to change your passwords because of this last breach that they had or something. It's like, okay, well, if Amazon or Google or these companies can't protect their own data, you need to be aware. So the signs...
So is that for real?
Oh yeah, that just came out yesterday.
Okay.
Google just put out an announcement yesterday that explained that not only do you need to change your passwords, they're talking about going to away from two-factor identification to passkeys.
Wow.
Just because of how these scams are evolving. But some of the things to look for are scammers prey on your good nature, and they like to put you under stress. So if you're getting a call, or if you get a text message that says your bill needs to be paid, or you're going to go to jail, final notice, and you get so scared that you call. When you call, you're calling a scammer. And a lot of times you can hear in the background all of the noise of all of the other scammers on the phone talking to other people. You need to understand that they try to put you under pressure saying, if you don't go and buy these gift cards or go to the bank right now and withdraw this money, X is going to happen.
I had a guy actually call me very vulgar words on the phone because he was trying to say that I wasn't listening, that he was
Of
trying to
course.
help me.
They try to
and
put
then I
you
handed
under
it to my
stress.
husband.
They try to put you under stress, and if you
Yes.
stop and take a deep breath, and a lot of times the best thing to do is say, "Give me your number, I'll call you back." And then what you're actually doing is you're calling someone else to discuss it. You're calling your closest friend, you're a police officer, your attorney, someone very knowledgeable, and saying, "Okay, just got this call and it must be the truth because they're telling me if I don't pay my Easy Pass bill, I'm going to jail." And I'd be like, "Uncle Tony, you don't even have Easy Pass."
Right.
But they stress you, right? The other one is that one of your grandkids is in jail and they let them on the phone for 15 seconds to say, "Nana or Grandpa, send me money." Scam, 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 scam. A police department is not going to call you and say, "You have to send us money immediately or your grandkid is going to jail."
So they work on the emotion.
Absolutely.
Scare you, make you mad, make you nervous, make you...
And convince you to do things. "Oh, no, 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 don't hang up. Oh, don't call somebody else. Oh, no," right? Automatic, those are all red flags. When they're telling you not to check with somebody else, or you don't have time to do that, or you need to do this, or your computer has a virus, hang up the phone.
You're getting me nervous just
Sandy,
like the way
you
you're
said
telling me
something
about.
during the break about don't answer numbers that you don't know, right?
Right, I never do. I let them go to voicemail. Something pops up on my phone, and I mean, people are trained, especially older adults, they're trained to answer their phone no matter who it is calling. And that's the problem. They're going to answer the phone.
Well, they want to talk to somebody too.
Right,
They're
and
lonely.
that's another thing. You know, these people are lonely. They're looking for somebody to talk to. So as a family member, if you have older persons in your family, call them. Call them often. Let them know, listen, you know, I'm calling you every day to check up on you. If you get a phone call or an email you don't understand, you call me and we'll talk about it. And I'll let you know if it's a scam or if it's something legitimate.
Yeah,
So
when
when
in
we-
doubt, leave it out.
When we talk about protecting ourselves from elder abuse, why does it happen? Why, first of all, does it happen?
The elder scams.
As you age, your brain actually loses the ability to identify deceitful people, scams, and things like that. So you can't help it. You can't help it. You go by this, and we've had various family members, you know, who they get the phone call, "Oh, this is the sheriff's office. We have an arrest warrant for you. You need to go to your bank now and withdraw cash and meet me." You know, and they go to the bank and they're meeting with somebody in the bank, and thankfully the lady at the bank said, "Is there somebody on your phone?" And our family member said, "Yes." And she said, "Hang up the phone right now," and she did.
The part of what you need
Yeah.
to understand, this is where we're failing as a society. You cannot, you pray to live long. So you cannot stop the fact that your brain, specifically your amygdala, is going to age and it becomes desensitized and you can no longer recognize a threat. And that's why people's grandparents are always so kind and so, "Oh, hi, honey. Oh, she's not bad. Oh, he's not bad," because they can't recognize deceit anymore. And so what we need to do as a society is understand we need to protect ourselves so that when our brain gets old, we already have fail-safes in place. And Sandy is really good at spelling out what those fail-safes should be. You need to protect yourself now. So if you're 50 or 60, stop answering your calls that you don't recognize now. You're training yourself.
How do they get all this information in the first place? Is it from every time we buy something and they want you to get on their mailing list and then you fill out the form, how old you are and whatever? Is all that information feeding this?
Everything you do on this is tracked.
I mean, even everything we talk,
Tracker.
if I need something, all I have to do is mention it, not on the phone. My husband and I will be talking about it. The next day, boom, 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 there's all the ads
All your
for
ads.
it. I mean, it is scary. It's
It
frightening.
is.
It's like having my house bugged.
Right.
I just feel like I have no privacy.
And so for as wonderful as it is, it's also something that we need to be aware of, right? It's like, oh, what a great aid because I just mentioned something and now I got these ads and I was able to order something. And at the same time, we need to be cautious and cognizant of the fact that scammers also, more ads on TikTok and Facebook. I think it's a ridiculous amount of number of how many of them actually go to a landing page of a scam. And it's not even a legitimate ad. The problem is that the companies receive revenue. And so they allow those ads because they're getting paid by the advertisers. And so they don't go checking deeply into, oh, is this a scam or, you know, are you really going to get what you ordered?
Right, that explains a lot
So
of times.
preventing, what to do to prevent it, as we were saying during the break with power of attorney. Some tips for if you're setting that up is to...
One of the biggest things that we have seen investigating elder financial exploitation cases is the person will appoint one person as their power of attorney. And what that does is it basically, that person is now responsible for them and their finances. So what we suggest is, instead of just having one person as power of attorney, we suggest having two people. That way they can have control of the accounts in case you need to go like in a nursing home. They can manage your finances and everything. But by having two people, it's kind of like a watchdog to watch over each other. Yes. Whereas, you know, we see a lot of cases where people, you know, elderly people are lonely. They want somebody to talk to them. And we've seen cases where older people will basically have a power of attorney and it's somebody they don't even know. And these people run through their money and leave them with nothing. And it's criminal. It's actually a criminal section in Pennsylvania.
So some of the great things that Sandy points out when we have people call us is there is no one size fits all. There's no one solution. So a dual power of attorney for finances works in some cases. A power of attorney. A lot of people, you'd be amazed at how many people don't have that. A financial planner, an attorney. You need to find somebody you trust, be it a financial planner or an attorney, and sit with them now, early, and say, help me plan for when I get older so that I don't lose all my money to a scam. And if that means putting all my bills on auto pay. One more thing is, when you do a Google search, do not click on the first number that comes up, because if you look, usually they're sponsored and they're not even, a lot of times, not half the time, but a lot of times, that's not even who you really were Googling. And you click on the wrong number and go down a rabbit hole, and all of a sudden you're getting a bill of goods that wasn't what you were signing up for.
We can talk all day with you guys, but we are happy to have you on the show. We're going to have them back.
Well, that's where it comes in great that we're giving the information out there, because we do have a website that people could reach you at.
And it's www.DeAndrea.biz.
Yes, ma'am.
B-I-Z. Yes.
B-I-Z.
A lot of great information. You guys are doing a fabulous job. I'm so glad the dynamic duo is together.
We're blessed. We feed off of each other. We're blessed.
Yes.
We really are.
Well, we're blessed to have you.
Well, a lot of years of experience and knowledge.
Over 75 years
Right.
collectively in law enforcement and private investigation.
But what's nice about us is we both usually had different specialties.
Genres of
And
law
So you
enforcement.
cover a broad spectrum.
Yeah, when we look at an investigation, we look at it kind of from out of the box, really. You know, there's so many different ways to look at it, and we cover a lot of it, and things that people don't even think of as far as investigations go.
Well, thank you so much for taking time. I know that you just got back from a trip that you were speaking at a conference, and I happened to call you when you were in the middle of it and had to step out of it. So it's like, all righty, oopsie, oopsie. But it's great to know that I've known you since I was a little kid.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
guys.
us.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much. All right, well, there's the information. You could use it. You could watch us here on SSP TV, Channel 13 locally, and then you could check us out on YouTube, watch all of our shows. Till then, stay safe. We'll see you next time.